I don't think people should believe whatever they see.
Some people might view it as, hey, the government is trying to shut me up from saying things.
Spreading rumors about a celebrity or public figure without verifying the facts.
I need business. Please come my way.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. My name is Faris, I'll be your host for today, and usually I'll be on funny videos, but there's nothing funny about today's topic, online safety in Singapore, and I have here with me today three very special guests.
Hi, I'm Daryl. I'm a therapist with Viddsee.
I'm Rishita. I do content creation. Yeah, I also do comedy content, but not that funny.
My name is Raj. I run my own law firm, Lions Chambers. Fun fact about myself, actually I was a winner of a reality TV show,
Oh, what?
Biggest Loser Asia.
Bro, you are a lawyer eh? What losers eh? So yeah, to break the ice, let's start with a short game first, called This or That. Basically, I say this or that, then after that, you pick one that you like lah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay? WhatsApp or Tele? 3, 2, 1.
WhatsApp.
Wait, you Gen Z, right?
Only 1 year earlier than a millennial. Zillennial, yeah.
But I've never heard like Gen Z use WhatsApp. Everyone uses Telegram.
I'm too lazy to change to
Lol.
another platform. Once I start using something, I just comfortable with it.
Then you're also the same, ah?
No, I'm too old to change.
No, it's never too old, bro. You?
Well, WhatsApp is, I've been using it since I got the phone, right?
Oh,
So
yalah.
everyone's there and it's just hassle to change it.
Okay, YouTube or TikTok? 3, 2, 1.
TikTok.
YouTube.
You say TikTok, right?
Yes.
You cannot use the age reason already. You use TikTok. You how old and you use TikTok?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's short enough for the attention span, and if you follow enough of the same content, then it just feeds you with all that information.
Hey, but I'm curious, right? You lawyer, right? That means your FYP is lawyer TikTok.
No, mostly cars, cats.
Oh, okay.
I think TikTok came very recent, right? Yeah. So, but I still like watching videos on YouTube. I think it's more informative and detailed. So personally, I like YouTube.
When I got into the TikTok party, I was like, oh, this is where the party's at. It's educational and it's funny and everything in short form.
Reddit or Quora? 3, 2, 1.
Quora.
Reddit.
What's Quora?
Quora is where like people answer all sorts of questions. You ask questions and people will submit their answers. You can ask the randomest question and someone will tell you. You can find a lot of things in Quora.
Yeah.
Reddit also, but Quora is a lot more, I feel it's a lot shorter and straight to the point.
Oh yeah.
I thought Quora macam educational.
It's more educational. If
Then
you want
Reddit is
facts,
like
it's just
nonsense.
a cesspit
Yeah.
of people.
It's more of a discussion platform.
Yeah.
So some fascinating insights right there. So let's move on to a couple more icebreaker before we get into the nitty-gritty of this topic. In your own words, what do you know about online safety?
Online safety, I think, is maybe digital hygiene. You know, how well you look after your accounts, whether it's your banking account, whether it's your social media account, how do you protect your password. My online hygiene is very simple. Things that I don't care about have the least amount of security. Things that I care about has the most amount of security. Whereas my social media accounts, take it lah. What are you going to do with it? I don't know and I don't care.
Yeah, very different from me and you,
Yeah.
Because our whole life is on
social media.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel it's not just about finances and protecting your information, but it's also making sure that someone can't take advantage of your picture or like your videos and try to morph it or anything. I think because now AI is there as well, so yeah.
I think recently came out, right? Like one of our Prime Minister Lee, somebody used his video and then used AI to get him to make an announcement. Then he had to come out and publish a statement that said wasn't him.
Yeah, it's because the AI, it can emulate your voice.
Yeah.
Then because people use it for funny things, but then you can use it for this kind of thing also.
It's called deepfakes, right?
Yeah, deepfakes.
Deepfakes
Yeah.
quite big.
Amazing technology.
Yeah.
How do you protect yourself emotionally online? Because like both of you are content creators and all your life is online, right?
Yes.
And your emotions are online as well. It's very exposed. So online safety to me is how do you detach away from
Turn off the iPad. For me, online safety is knowing where the grey area is. Your humor and your perception of what people can accept and what people cannot accept, right? Usually it's within your circle of friends. But if you are going into online, right, you are not dealing with just people who can deal with very crude humor. We are dealing with all kinds of sensitivities, right? And if you don't know what to say, what not to say, right, you can get into hot soup very fast. Okay, so very varying definitions here. Then I want to ask whether you guys got witnessed or experienced online defamations.
Like, I wasn't defamed, but I witnessed other people getting defamed. So personally, I feel like I don't think people should believe whatever they see. They run for a while and, you know, see if there's any legal action coming for that particular case especially. I don't think that people should just like share also. Like, if let's say someone posts something defamatory or they are calling someone out, I personally feel like other people shouldn't reshare. Again, nobody knows the whole truth.
Yes.
And I think that should be it should go through legal systems instead.
The issue is, most of the time people are so emotional that they feel that they have to resort to some sort of online communication. They don't realize that what they may be saying may be defamatory. Because there are many defenses in defamation, like justification, fair comment, things like that. But are you really putting out your statement in a manner that those defenses can be used? Because there's something called malice in law. Malice is the state of mind where you want to really injure a person's reputation. And if that comes out in trial or when it comes out in the case, some of your defenses for defamation go out the window, which means you lose. I don't think people should just quickly rush to make statements. If that's truly what happened, then I think making a statement is fine. But don't add salt and pepper and masala to random things.
So let's say if you take the West, you know, the Me Too movement. So there are cases where, you know, because of power difference, the individuals feel like they have to come out and make a statement, you know. So what do you say about that? Because if a person who's affected, really affected, I personally feel like you can't stop them as well. I understand their position as well. Why would they come out?
I think with anything, or at least lawyers, we are quite emotionalist. If you want to make a statement, you need to know whether your statement is going to get you into trouble. The defamation laws in Singapore is very simple. It's not really oppressing your right for free speech. You can say what you want, but you need to make sure what you say is true. But if that person thinks you're lying and puts you to test, then you got to make sure you have enough evidence to back it up.
Yeah, but that's from a very logical point of view, right? Like, if you really think through it logically, yes, if that's not the truth, I'm not going to say it. If that's the truth, I'm going to say it. But a lot of times online, I think the thing about being on social media is that there is almost no gatekeeping, right? You have access to it immediately. So a lot of people, when they get emotional, they react. So the reaction to the emotion is immediate. And that's why a lot of people get into a lot of trouble online. The truth might be blurred a little bit along the way. Then when they come out and say it, they can't defend when someone calls them out for it. That's where the whole thing, the whole show comes down.
There's another thing. If any matter goes to trial, you're not being judged by a panel of your peers.
Yep.
That person that making the decision is a judge. Generally, most judges are law trained. They are going to look at the facts of the case and the evidence that you're going to present. Yes, very nice to say something interesting in the heat of the moment to get those likes, the shares, the follows.
That's why I say that there's a difference between the internet and reality. You said people post it up, they get 100,000 likes, sure, they feel good about themselves, they feel good about the video. But when it comes to reality, someone press charges on you and suddenly you go like, oh shit, I'm alone on this. My likes ain't gonna save me. I think a lot of people don't understand that and they jump with emotions online a lot.
And it's because everyone else is doing it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
There's an audience that kind of like egging you on, like, hey, yeah, do it.
So
you know,
for
post it
instance,
out.
like if like, I don't know, 1,000 people talking about it, then you're gonna, I think their thought process is like, you're not gonna sue 1,000 people, right? Let's find out a little bit about understanding online safety in Singapore. Effective from July 18, 2023, IMDA has implemented an online safety code. This code is supposed to minimize risks of harmful social media content to Singaporeans, particularly children, and strengthen online safety measures in Singapore. Do you think such a measure will help improve online safety among Singaporeans?
I mean, the intention is good. I understand the intention. But there's still a little bit of hinging what about freedom of speech? What about your rights to talk, to share, to express yourself? I think that is the part where it's a little bit tricky. Some people might view it as, hey, the government is trying to shut me up. from saying things, right? It could be there. But at the same time, it's also to protect the young children, because young children are exposed to all sorts of stuff right now. I think with that, most importantly, I feel that there should be education more than anything else. People with the knowledge of what not to do, why not to do it, it will help them, it will prevent them from doing it.
I think incorporating something into the education curriculum, like 30 minutes a week, where they basically showcase how people's life has been ruined. Like, look at this boy, he posted this and then now his life is here. So I think maybe parents may not have enough time to help their kids with this. Having this 30-minute session a week, I think, will be extremely beneficial, just to let them know the consequences.
Even if it doesn't reach everyone, right, it will stick to some.
Yeah.
I personally feel like it should also be a give and take kind of a situation. Like, I feel like people should have the freedom of speech, but at the same time, also how can you deliver that freedom of speech? Like, I think delivery is personally what I think should be focused on rather than the information itself. Any content can be delivered if it's done right, I feel. Like, example, I want to talk about a racist incident that happened to me. I would personally wouldn't share the person's name or the event. I rather just talk about the action that occurred to me to cause an awareness, That's when I bring in my emotion, like, yeah, this happened to me, I want to talk about it. So I rather focus on the action, and the action itself will cause an awareness, and there will be people who talk about it, who will share the sentiment.
Getting to that, okay, so TikTokers, they like to do story time, but then some of them get into trouble because of that. How, in your opinions, can we strike a balance between defamation and freedom of speech?
Yeah, I guess delivery, like I mentioned, for me, I'm talking for my case, that I do feel like, it's good to raise awareness about incidents that happen to you, but I would do it in a way that wouldn't put me in trouble, because I also do my research on what constitutes of doxing and whatsoever. So I personally wouldn't talk about any institute that's involved or any person's name or details. I wouldn't talk about it.
I think storytelling and TikTokers, you can't fault them, right? Because those are the younger generation, like kids, they're born into social media. Social media is their world. They tell stories on social media, and I understand they want to share their experiences. One of the things that I feel, the line for me is, it's okay to share about your experience, what you experience, because nobody can take away what you have experienced. Yeah. That's yours. But the moment you cross that and say that, like, this person said this, he said this, and I don't like it that he said this and that. Now that is pointing to someone else, and you name the person, you name the institute, then it starts getting a limit.
Yeah.
According to Section 499 of the Singapore Penal Code, now I'm the government, if an individual intends to defame another person or is aware that their statements may cause harm, they have committed an offence that is punishable by a fine and a maximum imprisonment term of 2 years. I think if these people know this kind of thing, then they were like, okay, I'll be more vague about my story, I'll be less specific.
There's two defamations, right? One is criminal defamation, another one is civil defamation. So when the government steps in and basically charges you under the penal code for defamation, that attracts those penalties. But say, for example, I say a statement about you and it's defamatory. What are you going to do? You might think that going to your neighborhood police post, making a report, the police is going to do something about it. They might not. What happens if they do not? Then that's where you find your own lawyer and then you come and sue me. Basically, stick to the truth. If you want to say something about someone, it has to be justifiable. You must have evidence. You must be able to back up why you're making that statement. If not, just make a video or story time about how you feel about something. Something happened to me, I feel this way. I think that's still safe.
But I have a question to ask as well. So, like, on TikTok, there's this trend where, like, let's say someone says something bad, or like someone does something that's not popular, or something that goes against like the general morals of people, and then there are also content creators who would stitch them, or who would directly call them out. So would that be defamation?
Then that's republication or something defamatory. Okay, if they're supporting me, then basically you are also liable for defamation. You really need to look at the content, or you need to caveat the content where I saw this article, I'm not sure whether is it true. What are your thoughts? Something along that line. Don't simply wholesale republish something.
So my second question is, let's say the person is not defaming anyone. Let's say I'm making a video, and then like I just say something that is considered racist. Okay, and then someone else calls me out with another video.
Okay.
So will that be considered defamation?
The other person calling you out is not defamatory because the person is making it in response to your video. He's adding on to your video, and when somebody watches his video in full, they will see either his statement followed by your video. So it will be taken as a whole in a whole context.
I think if like I respond to your racist video, right, and I say, wow, this girl racist, I knew it from the start, she's always been such an evil person, then that constitutes
So
as...
then your video is not a racial video or not a
Yeah.
racist video, but it may be a defamatory video.
Okay, so now that we understand a lot more about online safety, right, let's learn how we can protect ourselves online lah. Nowadays, Gen Z, right, they like to share everything on social media. How can we be more careful when sharing information on social media?
It's something like lending people money. You lend what you're willing to lose. So if you're willing for somebody to use that photo of yours, that information about you, then you put it up online. I think you need to spare a thought about what information you're really putting out there.
I think nowadays, at least from what I see on social media, everyone overshares. I guess protection would be like, for me, probably emotional protection. So like if I get any like negative comments or anyone that I feel like is harassing me or anything, I mean, I will try to block them. That's my first instinct. Or nowadays, TikTok also introduced like you can review your comments, and so if you can put like certain words that you don't want to show up, then it will just filter for you.
So basically, you can still be transparent with what you share. It's just you protect yourself from people who are outright there to be malicious towards you.
Yeah.
Like normalize blocking.
Yeah, but of course, financial protection is also important. Like, don't put your credit card details out loud. Like, don't share don't show your number or anything on screen.
But I think with what Raj said about the money lending analogy is, if you're not willing to engage in a discussion or any sort of discussion online about anything, if you're not willing to do so, then don't post it out. Especially if your emotions, because anyone can say anything about your emotions. Someone can tell you that, why are you feeling angry like that? It's not right. You shouldn't be feeling angry about this person doing that to you. And then if you're not willing to engage in that discussion, then don't.
There seems to be a lot more viruses and scams every other day. Now this one might be, general knowledge lah, but how can we stay more informed about the latest threats and things to be aware of? How can we increase cybersecurity awareness,
With technology growing so rapidly, it's so easy to make scams. Like say for example, using AI technology, I go and download a bunch of your videos. I have your voice, and then I put it into the software, and then I call your mom to say, I'm kidnapped, please transfer money. Your mom's hearing your voice. What you gonna do? So I think it's really going to come down to common sense, which is not very common. Do you have time to use another phone and call that person? Call your son or daughter who's allegedly kidnapped. Find out. I mean, it's time for society to grow some more common sense.
I think it goes back to the whole part of education, right?
Yeah.
Technology moves so fast. We don't know. The older folks.
Yeah, it's almost as if we must educate the older folks rather than the young.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of campaign going on about telling the older folks, like, don't click on links, don't send shit out, don't transfer money and stuff like that. It sounds ridiculous to a lot of younger people. It's like, why would you
but
click?
It's so believable.
But for them, I understand, because my grandma will ask me, hey, this one can click, what is this? I'm like, don't click that shit. Like, don't touch it.
One of the things that I do is, I have multiple bank accounts, not because I have so much money, but I have one bank account that has not more than $500 that I use to do all my online purchases. All OTP for the account is just $500. So that's my fire trench. If it's more than 500, I top up the account, then the money goes away. But they don't get to the main account where I have my savings and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, like even for me, I put my email out there to get like, let's say, brand deals or anything. But I also get scam emails and a lot of like weird emails. And let's say if you're a working adult, you're on LinkedIn or anything, they can also take information from there. So there's no escape. I would say that you should be aware of what constitutes education, like we were talking about, or what constitutes as a scam. Because again, awareness is very important. Anyone can be susceptible to a scam, susceptible to a victim of anything, We are in a digital era where your information can be found if you Google it.
If parents decide to establish a social media account to share content featuring their child, what factors should they take account?
There is a demographic of people out there that have fetishes, and there's AI technology that can use your child's images to satisfy those fetishes. If you want that for your child, proceed. I wish you the best.
Basically, don't lah.
No, but I
Just
think
don't, yeah.
the basic rule of thumb is your child is your child. Your child is still young, can't make decisions for themselves. It's your job to protect them, in physically and as well as in the online sphere. So just don't.
Don't lah,
Yeah.
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 Say someone is spreading false rumors about you, right? How do you recommend responding?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you told me that if someone says something defamatory and you stitch them and talking about your side, nobody can use it against you. So I guess that would be the best measure if I do not have money. Yeah.
To those who don't have the luxury of going to a lawyer as the first port of call, I think you gave a good answer. If you can't go to a lawyer, my suggestion would be to try and speak to that person. You can't reach a resolution, maybe post your own content basically rebutting this. What this person said about me is false, this, that, and then see where that goes.
If it's about your career, if it damages your career, your work, your professional self, then sure, take a step further. I would take a step further and then probably contact you. Right, give me a name card here. Right, but if it's something that honestly like an allegation that I really don't care, or not allegation, but a statement that I really don't care, then I'll just let it slide. On our company's TikTok, there's people like talking about stuff like, a therapist should not have tattoos. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is, right? It's your perception of the therapist. If you're not comfortable having a therapist with tattoos, then sure, go for it. I'm not going to respond to that. I'm not going to get triggered over that. But if the person says this therapist with tattoo has done damages to people, then sure, that I have to take it to court, right? So really weighing what's more important to you, because social media mental health is a lot more important than anything else.
Okay, for the final segment, after a long session of serious topics, we are gonna play yay or nay. If you agree with the statement, you show the happy face of the pedal for yay. And if you don't agree with it, you show the sad face for the pedal for nay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Now, sharing your location with your online followers on your social media account.
It's middle actually.
No, I don't understand. Why you want to share your location?
It depends lah. Like,
What do
for
you not
example,
share online?
No, I'm a travel content creator, let's say.
That's true.
Then I went to this.
That's the nature of your
Yeah,
job, right?
that's for the nature. Like example, I went to this hotel and I share about it. I will post this after I left the place, So yeah.
So it's not like live.
location.
Yeah, it's
more
not-
like
yeah.
a tag. I know there's some TikTokers who do live and then everybody knows where the hell they are. If that's a gem, then who can judge, right?
Allowing browser to save your password.
Depends on which.
Everything also depends.
Everything, the whole thing is this,
You know
right?
Like I said, I have a bunch of accounts that mean nothing to me, so the browser saves those passwords.
I have the exact same answer, so that's why I said depends. But now, yeah,
Yeah,
useless
you agree?
accounts is this.
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm very sensitive about this kind of things like passwords and stuff. Like,
I
I don't,
also.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I don't even put my Face ID on my phone, right?
Oh, that one
I
only.
still manually like key numbers and I change numbers.
What's your worst fear?
I don't know, right? Maybe it's a boomer mindset. Maybe I'm supposed to be 50.
Spreading rumors about a celebrity or public figure without verifying the facts.
I need business. Please come my way.
Actually, yeah, when you talk about celebrity, right, it's like, a lot of people do it. They don't have facts, but they want to.
There are like gossip columns also, right, on channels and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and
sit and
it's
talk.
like socially accepted,
yeah.
isn't it?
I think isn't it like some kind of social media mindset? You want to stand out.
Yeah, you want to jump in and stand out
Yeah.
and like, have the juiciest news.
Yeah.
Like let's say comedians in the US or whatsoever, they regularly poke fun at other public figures. So how is that considered defamation?
I
or-
feel no.
I think there's a whole big caveat over it, right?
You're a comedian.
A lot of times before they go into one of those shows, they'll basically say, this is all comedy, all this is just for.
I think this question must be asked to a comedian. I think they have a code of conduct. There's a line that they don't cross. I'm not sure what is that line.
So when someone takes your video and reposts it without crediting, is it legal?
Legal.
That's what I asked him lah.
Yeah,
Why
just
you
might
ask
as
him?
well ask him. We don't know the legal.
No, it's not legal.
It depends, right? Like, to a certain extent, it depends. Like, if you're on TikTok and I share your video, it will have your watermark of sorts at the bottom, right? But if I'm downloading your video, going through the whole steps of deleting away watermarks to try and really share with other people that that video is entirely mine, then no. But if it's just simply sharing your video by clicking share and it's some, there is some credits to you, then I think that's still okay.
Okay. Yeah, straight to the point. So that was it for today's episode on online safety, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment that we had to end off this whole thing. One last question before we end this episode. What is one final piece of advice you would give viewers out there?
Understand what is reality, where you are in real life as compared to where you are online. They're two separate things. Try not to mix them up. Live life a little bit in present instead of trying to live your life mostly online.
Yeah, I guess educate yourself as much as you can, and also be careful of what you post. Don't let the trollers get to you.
Lawyers are expensive. Better be safe than sorry. There's no discounts.
As a content creator, so you post some things that you're willing to lose lah. And we've come to the end of this episode. My name's Faris and
Daryl?
Rishita.
Raj.
signing off. Bye.
Bye.
If you like this video, remember to like,
Comment.
Share.
Subscribe.
bye.